All right, so here I'm going to go over the answers for C, and I'm going to use each of these different models of brownie pans in order to go through. I went ahead and wrote in what the problem is for number one. So number one is 1/3 of 1/4, or 1/3 times 1/4. So that tells me I have to break up my brownie pan into fourths section. So I have to break up my brownie pan into fourths. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I see that the brownie pan is 1/4 full. The rest has been eaten already. So there's my 1/4 of a pan of brownies. And next I need to break up my brownie pan into thirds. So here's 1, 2, and 3. All right, we are buying 1/3 of this pan of brownies. So we are going to be buying just this section of brownies. Okay, so we will have to figure out how many pieces this brownie pan is broken up into total to know how much of the brownie pan we're buying. So I'm breaking it up into 12 pieces total. And we will figure out how many pieces I actually get out of those 12. The only pieces that overlap between the section I bought and how much brownie is left is 1. So now we'll go ahead and write our number sentence right underneath. 1/3 times 1/4 is equal to 1 section out of 12 pieces. So 1/3 of 1/4 equals 1/12. Okay, we will move on now to number 2. This number sentence is 1/4 of 1/3. So really similar to the previous one, but this time we're going to start with splitting our pan into 1/3. And then we'll shade in 1/3 of our pan of brownies. That's all that's left right now. And then step 2 will be now to split it up into fourths. So here's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. All right, so we're buying 1/4 of this pan of brownies, just this section right here. Okay, so now we'll figure out how many pieces did we just break our pan into. We broke it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, similar to our last problem. So go ahead and now we will figure out how many pieces of this brownie pan that we actually get to buy. And again, just like the last one, we only get 1 piece since we're buying 1/4 of the pan. And the only section of brownie that's in that 1/4 is that 1 piece. So 1/4 times 1/3 is equal to 1 piece out of our 12 pieces of our brownie pan. So very similar to our first problem. We'll notice that we broke each pan up into 12 and we got 1 piece because really we only switched 1/3 times 1/4 into 1/4 times 1/3. All right, on to number 3. This problem is 1/3 times 3/4. So we will go ahead and split our pan into fourths, and then 3 of the 4 sections are still full of brownies. So there's 2 and 3. 3/4 of our pan of brownies. And we are buying 1/3 of this pan. So we'll break up our pan into thirds. And now we are going to shade in the section that we're buying. So we're buying 1 of the 3 sections right here. And now we'll have to figure out how many pieces is our brownie pan broken up into. So go ahead and count out how many pieces this brownie pan is broken into total. Again, we have 12 pieces. And of those 12 pieces, we need to figure out how many we get to buy. of our 1/3 section, 3 pieces are still there. So we get to buy 1, 2, 3 out of 12. So underneath our brownie pan here, we can write our number sentence. 1/3 of 3/4, or 1/3 times 3/4, is 3 sections out of the 12 total pieces of that brownie pan. So make sure you have all these number sentences as well. Last problem here is 3/4 times 2/5. So we will have to shade in our brownie pan into fifths. Now we'll just kind of have to estimate, since fifths are not quite as easy to draw. But this will work. And then 2 of our sections are filled in, 2/5 of our pan of brownies. And then we're splitting this brownie pan into fourths. We get to buy 3/4 of the pan. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we will go ahead and shade in how many sections we have total. So we'll count out how many pieces our brownie pan is split into, and then from there we can figure out how many pieces we get to buy out of our 20 pieces. So now we are buying 3/4. So here's 1/4, there's 2/4, and there's 3/4. So this whole section is what we get to buy, but not all of it has brownie pieces. So we have to go back and figure out what portion actually has brownies that we can buy. So how many pieces will we actually buy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we get 6 of the pieces of this brownie pan out of the 20 pieces total. So let's write our number sentence right below. It's 3/4 times, or of, 2/5. And this is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pieces out of the 20 total pieces in our brownie pan. Now I'm noticing that I can reduce 6/20. I can simplify that and make it smaller. And I know that I could split both 6 and 20 into 2, or I could divide it by 2. So if I do that, then I can simplify my fraction. So I'll do 6 divided by 2 and 20 divided by 2. And when I do that, I'll get a fraction that is in its simpler or smaller terms. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, 20 divided by 2 is 10. So 3/10 is equal to 6/20. It's just simplified. And I see that now he has 3/10 of that brownie pan. All right.